Good afternoon, everybody. Today I wanted to talk to you about the 10 masks that the narcissist will wear to deceive you. So let's get started. The first mask is going to be the dedicated parent mask. This is the mask that they wear outside the home. And the first thing they do when they're behind closed doors, they will violate the children and the love partner is in the home. They'll violate all their boundaries. They're self-centered and egotistical, just like the rest of them. They're covert narcissists, typically the vulnerable narcissists. And that's what I'm talking about here mainly is going to be those types, because that's the type that we deal with. And that's the type that is not overtly out there telling us what's really going on. They will brainwash the children in believing that they're a loving, dedicated parent, and that but they will also, at the same time, they will be physically abusing them, emotionally abusing them, psychologically abusing, and it's all fake. It's all behind closed doors. You know, of course, behind closed doors, if you've been with a narcissist, a lot of times the mask comes off or it's slipped and they don't even care anymore. At some point, the narcissist doesn't care. They're going to act that way or have the mask off, so to speak, all the time. Because at some point, you know, in time, they're going to feel that they've garnered your love enough and control over you enough and broke you down enough to where you're not going to ever leave. They leave you when they want, and they come back to you when they decide to. But outside of that, they don't believe you'll ever do anything. But behind closed doors, they are meant to put fear in everybody, and that's why nobody says anything. So the love partner would be, if they weren't codependent, they will be broke down to codependency by this stage, and they would have children with them, and they would have been threatened that, you know, if they were to leave them, then they would get alimony or support, or, you know, you'd never see your children again. And these threats are huge, especially after you've been broken down. So the love partner is just going to coexist. They're going to just try to make the covert narcissist happy in the home, because nobody's going to believe you half the time anyway. But they will triangulate, they will trick the children and family members, they will confuse and gaslight inside the family unit. Everybody behind closed doors and in the house, the children and the love partner are going to know the real truth and that it's all fake. But what the narcissist is only concerned about is out there, their image out there, how others perceive them. They don't care if they're a monster behind closed doors, and they don't care how they treat you, as long as they can get away with it out there. If their mask looks clean and it's put on properly out there in the public and nobody knows except the people that love them, they don't care. Number 2 is a lovesick type mask. Now, this mask is going to be one that's used, for instance, in the love bombing phase. It's the one where they adorn you and they love bomb you. They put you on a pedestal, and it's only for a short time, and it's only for the means to the end, right? And the means to the end is for them to get you hooked, and then they can tighten up their control over you. And this is to get full control over you. Once they have garnered your trust and your love, and they got you hooked and they've hijacked you emotionally, then they just break you down with more codependence, cohesive coercion, and just control from there, gaslighting. They do whatever they want. They are very convincing when it comes to this love bombing and stuff, because just like when they want to come back and hoover you, they need you and they can't live without you. So their fight or flight kicks in, and they actually believe that. Well, they also believe this, the love bombing phase, they believe, and they really get into it. So these are good performances, those two. Outside of that, typically they're kind of really class B and C actors. The thing is they gaslight you, and they will lie straight to your face, bold-faced lies, and sometimes they'll give you a little bit of love. And so that's the stuff, that breadcrumbing and stuff. And when you're not used to somebody lying to your face about real stuff, not just like they wore a different color socks or something, it's like they're like cheating and all kind of stuff. It's just not something you're used to, because we're not used to somebody that has no empathy. I mean, you know, not commonly in a love partner relationship. Next is the victim mask. This is the poor victim. They play the poor victim, and they act humble and shy and wounded. This is that type of mask, the mask where they can look like they're an empath, but they're covert, vulnerable narcissist, and they deep down, they're self-centered, man, and they're just using you. But this is how they can garner attention. They can get love and adoration, validation, adoration, fawning, and people can just pour into them because they feel bad for them. And this leads to them getting what they want, their preferential treatment, their special treatment that they always want to garner, to where they're, basically petted and everybody's subservient to them, and they're all meeting all their needs, doing anything they want. Next is the charismatic leader. So the charismatic leader, people like this are like a narcissist. A lot of people think that narcissists can be very charismatic, and sometimes they can, more on the overt level than the covert level. The covert have their little groups of people as well. If you see them at work, or if you see them at home and people they talk to on the phone, they do have a small group of people. They're flying monkeys, and those are people that they may be charismatic around for short periods of time, little bursts, depending on what their fuel is looking like in their fuel reserve. But generally speaking, the covert narcissist types are going to be antisocial, so you don't get a whole lot of charismatic behavior out of them. What you do see is their pompous attitude, and that can sometimes look like it is got some sort of charm to it, because sometimes they can turn that on and it can look good for short periods of time. They just seem like they have confidence sometimes, and they possess this overly confidence, but really it's just a superiority, knowing that they're feeling above you and they're probably fully gassed up. But, they're not really good charismatic leaders, because charismatic leaders care about people. They have self-awareness. They want to grow, and they want to see their, colleagues do better. The colleagues of the narcissist, if you were to ask them, they would all tell you they dislike the narcissist because they know how the narcissist is. The narcissist doesn't care about them, and they have no empathy. A lot of times they're going to be destructive to themselves. As they get more and more prideful by doing the things they do, they eventually end up getting in trouble themselves. Next is going to be number 6, is the heroic narcissist mask. That's going to be the narcissist that gets support, admiration, praise, and validation from others from coming in as a hero. They come in and they see the victim, and others have harmed them through life circumstances, right? And they could be a true victim. But what's the problem here is they're faking. They're just doing this to get validation, admiration, adoration, to get praised. So they had things bad happen to them. They show that they're helpless, right? So then the narcissist will step in, they'll play the hero, they'll exaggerate all of the suffering that they had to go through and the painful circumstances for other people's sakes, to serve the people. They're doing it for the people. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the hurt people. They don't care about doing anything. See, the thing is whether they're going through the motions of the act, it doesn't matter. If it's not in your heart, right, and you're using it to manipulate people, use people, and abuse and control people, then that's evil. So the people become sympathetic to them, and then they gain all kind of control and respect and praise that way. And they can do this and then not be accountable for their true narcissism that is going on while they're helping out whoever, these victims are. So they may be a hero to a group of people, but then in the background, they're physically and verbally and psychologically and emotionally abusing everybody. You know what I mean? Or certain people in that smaller community. And then people will turn the blind eye because they're doing all these other good things that are helpful to them. See, so it's like a cover up. Next is going to be the expert mask, the expert covert narcissist mask, or whatever. The expert is just, of course, just what it says. The narcissist does this to get support, adoration, praise, validation from others. It's like, they know everything. They get praised for knowing everything. And any topic that you come up with, they know all about it, supposedly. And they'll use big words, but they're not deep with any conversation. Everything is surface level with them. So if they claim to know something and use big words, they may not even know or understand what those big words mean, but they're going to mow over them. They're going to kind of get this convincing, put on their pompous look and their prideful stares and things. And then once people start to believe them, they'll just move on to another topic and distract and redirect, maybe just to get off that subject, because they're just superficial with everything. If you were to dig in, you'd probably catch them. But like I said, most people aren't used to somebody looking at them with a straight face and bold face lying to them. But when you have no empathy or lack of empathy, this is what you can do. You can be very destructive. So next is going to be the friend, right? Or the frenemy, right? That's what we call them today. This is somebody who will, they will be very nice to you, and they will get to know you. They will learn things about your secrets, or, get to know and garner your trust. Okay, sometimes garner your love, and then they will stab you in the back, and they will get major supply of that. And a lot of times it's for that, but they just can't have long-lasting relationships, especially with regular people in humanity. They're, in maladaptive type relationships, they just go back and forth with each other and beat each other up and then come back again and again and again. But with humanity, they just destroy them at some point in time because they can't have a good relationship. They, basically what'll happen is you'll start to find these things out about them. They'll have injured you in certain sorts of way where it's been an issue. So then you set up and assert yourself, put up boundaries, and then they get very upset about that. And it's shocking basically how their viciousness comes out. They will then, run a smear campaign on you and guilt trip you and abuse you emotionally. It's just a mask, y'all. Number 9 is going to be the hyper-intellectual mask, and this is going to be a cerebral narcissist, which they're going to be very pretentious. They speak of things that are common to average people or lower class people, and they're going to make it they're better than those things because those things don't meet their standard. You may watch TV, but then they'll be talking about how they love the theater because the theater is so much better and the TV or the television is cheap or something. So they'll do things to make themselves stand out versus fitting in, or just kind of just accepting whoever they are, That's the thing with the narcissist. They don't ever know who they are because they're too busy lying and cheating and faking. So they never actually do come into themselves for anything. May test your intellect and try to put you down, because the cerebral narcissists, they, generally speaking, they do have some knowledge about things. They like the manipulations, and they get off on arguments and dialogue versus like sex and looking good in a somatic way. 10 is going to be the friendly coworker. Now this one could be really rough, y'all. This is an extra kind coworker that comes in, and they have a strategy that is, makes them to be extra kind and like caring, that they really care about you. They want to be helpful, but they're going to learn about you a little bit, learn some secrets about you, whatever. And then they're going to be extremely deceptive. They're going to be knowing this from the jump, and then they will use this insight, of this information they have with you against you with others, in the team, in the coworker team situation. They'll spread rumors, and they're usually terrible coworkers. I mean, they're terrible workers. Generally speaking, their work ethic is not good at all, and they create a hostile work environment. I mean, it's crazy. They will harass you and claim that they have done your work sometimes, or try to get validation for work that you did, and adoration and respect for things that you did, and try to sabotage your work. And so this is a real tough one when you're trying to make a financial living and you're dealing with this in the background. It's not good, y'all. But anyway, these are the 10 masks: the dedicated parent, the lovesick partner, the victim, the poor victim, the charismatic leader, the generous philanthropist, the heroic narcissist, the expert narcissist, the friend, the frenemy, the hyper-intellectual, the cerebral type, and then the friendly coworker. That's all. I hope this helps somebody out there understand the 10 masks of the narcissist to deceive you. If you can give me a like, subscription, a thumbs up. Love y'all. Till next time, soldier up. Peace, we out.